how do we look after you as leaders to actually deliver some of the change that's essential over the next 5, 10, 15 years. I'm going to talk to you about a programme called NHS Collaborate. And it's an initiative to support determined and capable primary care leaders to help transform teams and accelerate the delivery of new models of care. We've identified established and emerging leaders from around the country. And what we've done is we've tried to focus on the human journey of leadership. And through this, we've seeded the social architecture of our Collaborate community through listening. So we gathered a small network of people together. We had a day together, about 14 of us, and we did something called Generative Listening. It requires you to listen without interrupting, both verbally and non-verbally. We've also developed a community of practice, and there's 3 principles. You first seed and create the social architecture, which is the people around issues. And then you nurture and you look after the knowledge and the content that social architecture discusses. And then you provide a technical architecture which enables a virtual platform for people to connect and stay in touch with each other. We engaged with primary and community leaders, and we recorded these conversations with their permission, and then we transcribed them, and then we analysed them. We looked for patterns and issues, and then we listened again. So what did we hear and what did we learn? Well, we heard a lot about making a difference, a lot about people's connection to vision and the real importance of communication. But we also heard particular dissatisfaction with current leadership programmes, which can be very process-driven and lack emotional support. Leaders and emergent leaders in primary care are asking for a support mechanism that is long-term to enable and equip them to manage the inevitable future change, and not just a 2-year mentorship programme. One of my common observations in having these conversations with people is we would do them in groups, 2, 3s or 4s of leaders who've known each other for 5, 10 years. And we discover they don't know each other at all. They don't spend time to understand their behaviours. And when you give them the space to do that, you find people actually connect. And that feeling of isolation, which is felt by most, subsides. There's also issues that have come up. There's a tension between local support and national support. What we discovered was that many people see national recognition as sort of hubristic and counterproductive. People have struggled with innovation as a lever for change and then trying to scale that at pace. And GPs, while still recognising that they need to work in partnership with other kind of professionals, struggle to let go of what they're doing professionally. And there's people who are open to sort of new forms of communication like Twitter or social media or WhatsApp, for example, but actually many are finding the time just to get their head out of the water. And I think one of the key things around failure and success is that success is currently measured in the context of a system that is dominated by secondary care. And if we're going to transform the system, we need to find some new measures of success. This is my favourite quote, which is, there's a natural vulnerability amongst us. In fact, one of the people that's inspired me talking about leadership talked about the power of vulnerability. And I think there is something about leaders learning to be vulnerable with one another. And when we interviewed 2 to 4 colleagues together, and we helped them talk openly about their personal vulnerability, all of them left with a different feeling of connection with their colleagues. It quickly became evident that its future purpose is to connect primary care leaders at a human and personal level, enabling them to understand each other's journey of leadership, to build confidence and take risks towards transforming care, and to establish a new authority for primary care. So phase 2 of Collaborate is as a sort of self-shaping and evolving multidisciplinary community. Its future and its outcomes are quite difficult to articulate because it's quite an organic process. However, we are very clear this is not about developing a programme for 40 leaders. It's about planting a tree and providing a platform that will grow organically, supported in its early phase, and be very self-sustaining for its future. A perfect outcome after 3 years of this programme, from now, would be for every senior leader within at-scale providers to no longer feel alone. And during that journey, we need to continue to look after each other. You can connect to our microsite, which is NHS Collaborate. There's a report of what we've done, which you can download from that site. And thank you for your time.